This is just a brief video on what we will be doing in class and other classroom procedures that might occur throughout the year. First, we will say what we might need for class in our science class this year. First thing we'll need will be a 3-ring binder, as seen here. Usually these are a lot better than the Trapper Keepers you might see because they seem to hold up more better and it seems to be more organized and you don't have a lot of paper all joined up in one. You also need pens or pencils, whichever you may prefer. It doesn't really matter to me. Sometimes it might be good to carry both just to be ready for whatever might happen. And also, since this is a science class, you also need a calculator, preferably a scientific calculator. We usually don't get into stuff too complicated because we usually only use basic math equations and stuff like that. Now when it comes down to class, usually we'll start off class with a normal bell ringer, which you will keep in your Trapper key or your binder. And usually we'll have a log set up and we will just do a basic problem that to begin every class period with. It's usually not a hard problem, just something to get your mind working in order to get the class started. And we'll go over the structure of that later on once class begins and get more on in the year. Throughout our normal lesson timing, we'll be covering many different subjects about science this year. We'll be covering matter, environmental science, scientific method, good stuff like that. And then at the end of class, we have this thing called exit ticket, which is where each end of class you'll be given out a note card or a piece of paper. And on the board I'll have 2 simple questions that we might have covered that day in class. And basically what you'll do, you'll fill out the answers to both the questions on your note card and turn them in to me. And in class, in order to leave, they have to be the correct answer. And this is basically just to show you learned a little bit in order to accumulate all the information we absorbed today. All this information, or all this stuff I talked about today, can be modified throughout the year. It all just depends on what we're covering. Like if it's getting crunch time to SOL, we might spend more time on lecture and less time, might skip the daily warm-up for the day. If we're doing an experiment, which we'll do many throughout the year, then that we might not do any of this stuff and just focus on the experiment that we're doing. It really just depends on what we're doing, what time of year it is, and stuff like that.